The trade war between Canada and the U.S. is heating up, but need it? Welcome to my channel, y'all. I hope you're having a great day. Well, Pierre Poilievre held a press conference today in which he responded to the Trump tariff threats, and he actually gave a 7-point plan in order to counter these tariffs. So let's go to the press conference, see what he had to say, including the 7-point plan, and then we'll talk about it.
You are our friends. You are our neighbors. We share the longest undefended border in the history of the world. You buy our products, and we buy yours. You have a trade surplus with us when energy is excluded. And when it is included, the deal is even better for you because you buy our oil and our gas at massive price discounts. Not because we're nice Canadians, but because here at home we've made really dumb decisions to prevent us from exporting our energy to any other countries.
Which is a really good point. The Trudeau government has been anti-energy all along, and a lot of that has to do with Mark Carney. He's been advising Trudeau for years, and we've got to get past this. We have to build a pipeline across Canada, and we have to also optimize our pipeline, the Trans Mountain pipeline down to the Vancouver and refineries in British Columbia. And we also have to find ways to get our liquefied natural gas or to liquefy natural gas and also get it to the ports so that we can sell that overseas. And it's a really good point that it has been stupid decisions by the Liberal government that has caused this. And now we are stuck in trade war negotiations. And that is primarily because Donald Trump knows that he has something over us. He can hold this over our heads, and that is all on Trudeau.
Americans are better off with this friendship. We share a continent, we share the same risks and the same potential enemies from around the world. Those kinds of enemies can metastasize into real dangers and actual attacks, as you saw suddenly and unexpectedly on 9/11. It's good to have friends when those sorts of things happen.
And that's a very good point. And we have to stress that with the United States in our negotiations. Now, what Trump is saying is that they're subsidizing our protection because they were not holding up our end of the deal. And I think he's got a very good point there. So we have to do more. And I'm going to come back to that a little later. I'm actually going to have a suggestion at the end of the video, so stick around for that, because I think that we can solve that issue as well as the border issue, so the military and the border issue, and and satisfy Trump with regards to that.
And let me ask my American friends this question. Even if you believe in tariffs, how is it possible to put a 25% tariff on Canada and only a 10% tariff on China? In what strategic mindset does that make sense?
I want to apologize for the audio there. The source audio was breaking up. I've checked other sources. It can't be helped for this video. Now, Pierre made a very good point here. You're taxing China, which is essentially a rival country, an enemy country almost, but you're taxing a friend, you're tariffing a friend more. I think that there is a lot of hard feelings because of that. And really, there should be. I mean, when you look at everything that we've done together, 2 world wars, Korea, Afghanistan, the Iranian hostage crisis, we've stood with the United States. I think that it is a mistake to treat us worse than you treat China.
If it's to do with fentanyl, the fentanyl is coming from China. It's killing our people too. We both have to do more to stop it, but we can do more when we do it together. My message to the Liberal government: put aside partisan interests and recall Parliament. It is insane that in this great crisis, Parliament is shut down to deal with a crisis and a power struggle within the Liberal Party. Let's put aside partisan, political interests and recall Parliament to pass into place a common sense Canada First plan. And here's that plan. One, we must retaliate dollar for dollar, carefully aiming those tariffs at maximizing the impact on American companies while minimizing the impact on Canadian. We must maximize the impact on American companies while minimizing the impact on Canadian consumers and businesses. That means targeting U.S. products that A, we can do without, B, we can buy elsewhere, or C, best of all, that we can make here at home.
Now, I'm not 100% against that. However, I do believe that we're jumping to retaliatory measures too quickly. I do believe there's a better option that we can use before that.
Two, the tariffs must not be a tax grab. None of the money from the tariffs should stay in government coffers or be spent on unrelated government priorities. All of it should go back to the workers and businesses that are affected, and most of it should go back in the form of a massive tax cut. And that is why I'm calling for the passage of an immediate emergency bring it home tax cut. The tax cut would be designed to save jobs, create jobs, crush inflation, and boost our economy.
Now, if you're keeping track, that's actually point 2 and 3. And I totally agree with this. So if we do bring in tariffs, then that obviously should go to tax cuts, not rebates. Rebates are stupid. It just causes a lot of bureaucracy and inefficiencies. Why take money just to give it back? That makes absolutely no sense. Cut taxes. But how are we going to do that when we have these idiot liberals who just want to tax and keep the money and spend recklessly? And that's why we're in this problem to begin with.
4, we must immediately scrap the liberal anti-energy law C-69 and greenlight job-creating projects now. That includes LNG plants, pipelines, mines, factories, port expansions, so that we can get our products to overseas markets without going through and profiting the United States. It was insane for us to block our industries before this crisis. It is a fatal mistake now. We must bring home production and self-reliance to our country. Which brings me to 5. We need to knock down interprovincial trade barriers to have truly free trade across our country. We are in this state because we sell twice as much to the Americans as we sell to ourselves. These interprovincial barriers are destructive. They kill jobs. They drive up consumer prices, and they cost the average family $6,000 a year.
That's a huge amount of money for a Canadian family to spend. And why would we have trade barriers between provinces? That absolutely doesn't make sense that we have those trade barriers. It absolutely makes sense that we eliminate those trade barriers. I think a lot of people don't even realize that these trade barriers are there. We need to eliminate them.
6, we must rebuild our military and take back control of our borders to regain the confidence of our partners, assert our sovereignty, protect our people, and put Canada first.
And this is where I make a real radical suggestion. Why don't we merge our militaries, and why don't we merge our border and immigration policies, and maybe even our border and immigration enforcement? We can eliminate our borders that way. So that, I get it. That would be very radical. And yeah, some people might say it's a step towards giving up our sovereignty, but I don't see it that way. I mean, that could be a step towards an economic union as well, without actually going as far as an economic union. If Canada and the United States got together and had a totally integrated plan for the military and for border security, and we had an integrated force that dealt with border security as well as an integrated military, I think that would satisfy Trump on the issue of the subsidizing our military and on the fentanyl issue. We of course should probably expand that to an integrated drug policy and an integrated drug enforcement policy, because that is another one of his major concerns.
Finally, We must lock arms with American economic interests that favor Canada, the workers and businesses that depend on trade with Canada should be marshaled to pressure the administration to back down. We must go to key states that will be up for grabs in the congressional elections 2 years from now and let their congressmen and senators know that they will be running on a bad economic record if refinery workers have lost jobs because Canadian oil can no longer make it to them, or if young families can't buy homes because lumber is even more expensive for home builders, or families that are already suffering from inflation are paying more for gas because our energy has become more expensive due to American tariffs.
We absolutely have to point out the negative effects these tariffs will have on the American people. And I'm sure that Trump realizes that, but I think that he believes that they can rebuild the U.S. economy and be isolationists on the world stage. But I don't think that that is realistic. Now, a lot of people think that he's putting pressure on Canada to become the 51st state. I'm not sure how serious he is on that, but he did post something on Truth Social today. And you know what? Let's take a look at that right now. We pay billions of dollars to subsidize Canada. Why? There is no reason. We don't need anything they have. We have unlimited energy, should make our own cars, and have more lumber than we can ever use. Without this massive subsidy, Canada ceases to exist as a viable country. Harsh, but true. Therefore, Canada should become our cherished 51st state. Much lower taxes, and far better military protection for the people of Canada. And no tariffs. Of course, these trolls have been going on for months. And I guess you have to ask, are they trolls or are they negotiation techniques? I'm pretty sure that he knows Canada will never become the 51st state. It is more likely that piece by piece, different provinces would become states, but that's even a really huge stretch as well. I don't think that's going to happen either. Even if Canadians, a lot of Canadians support that idea, I don't think they could get to 51%. So what do Americans think about these retaliatory tariffs that Canada and Mexico are threatening? Well, let's take a look at something J.D. Vance said on Morning Futures, or Sunday Futures, I think it was, today.
Well, the president said these tariffs will go into effect tomorrow.
Yep.
25% on Canada and Mexico, 10% on China. Are you expecting retaliation?
We'll see what happens, but I think, unfortunately, the retaliation has already happened. The problem with this whole idea that they're going to retaliate is they have already been taking advantage of America for decades. The retaliation is Donald Trump saying no more. We're not going to be taken advantage of anymore, and I think it's important the president is doing what he's doing. Now, look, it looks different ways and comes in different forms, whether you're talking about Canada or China or Mexico.
Is that a negotiation technique? Are they serious? Do they believe that they've been taken advantage of? I think they do. I think they believe that Canada's security, as far as the military is concerned, that we have taken advantage of them. And I think that's actually true. And I also think that we need to do more for the border. And that brings us back to the point that I made before. We need, I think, a fully integrated military, as in one military across North America. And I believe that we should have one border and drug strategy and integrated forces, completely integrated forces, to deal with those issues. Now, I know a lot of people may think that that's, not the right approach, but you know what? Those are my opinions. I'd love to know what you think, though. Put your comments down below. And while you're at it, please like this video, share with your friends and on social media. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and hit that bell notification so you never miss another video. Also, I do have a live stream on Thursday evenings at 6 p.m. Pacific time on both YouTube and Rumble. So I do encourage you to join in on that conversation. Plus, I do teach the Canadian firearm safety courses, and these are courses you need to get your Canadian firearms license. So if you reside on Vancouver Island and you want to take a course from me, there are links in the show notes of this video to my website where you can sign up for one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.